I'm going to go straight in. You've written your book. What next? Straight in. ISBN. You might be thinking, of course I have an ISBN. Don't say that. Some people have seen so many books. In fact, just last week I was with someone and they had published this book and they did not know they had to get an ISBN. No, what is an ISBN number? It's a 10 or 13 digit number assigned before a publication to a book or edition thereof, blah, blah, blah. And it's something that, it will give you all the info, title, edition. It's how your book is actually recorded and documented in the authority that gives out those ISBN numbers. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important. And in Nigeria, in different places, all over the world, there are different agencies that assign numbers. But for Nigeria, it's the National Library. Okay, so if you go to the National Library and you tell them, I've written a book, I want to get an ISBN, they will talk you through the process, a very simple process. But you must have a registered company or a registered publishing company to do it. So if you don't have that or you don't want to go through it, you can actually talk to someone else who's a publisher, talk to any of us, and we will help you with that process. It doesn't cost much at all. It doesn't cost, it's very, very affordable. I know prices start from maybe like 5K if you're doing it yourself. If you're paying somebody as little as 20,000, it doesn't cost much, but it's something that will give your book that authenticity that it needs and give it that professional look. And also your book is documented, it's there on record, it is filed. If they search using that number, they'll be able to pull out your book. So it's very, very important. And I remember the first book I wrote, when I wrote first day at the big school, I had to buy 10 because it was in the UK that I did my ISBN at first. And they were like, it's like you buy 10 or 100, but now you can just buy an individual ISBN anywhere in the world. If you want to just buy one, go ahead and buy one. But most times it's cheaper to just buy more, because if you're an author, it's not only one book you plan to write, you probably plan to write more. So you can, go ahead and get more books bought and purchased. And because ISBNs are so for me, I have, using first day at the big school, you cannot use the same ISBN for different versions of your book. You must note that. If you have an audio book, the ISBN will be different. If you have an ebook, the ISBN will be different. If you have a book that you printed in Nigeria, that you published in Nigeria, the ISBN will be different. If you have one that you did in the UK, it will be different. If you have one maybe online, on Kindle, or what's it called? Online, any of those online stores, like Amazon, for instance. On Amazon, in fact, Amazon will even give you themselves. They will say, look, take your ISBN. So each version of your book has a different ISBN. So it's very, very important. So you could have one book that will have 4 or 5 different ISBNs, the same book, and it's a very, very important way to identify your book. So please, if anyone has told you that ISBNs don't matter, I'm here to tell you that they do. It's a very, very important mark for your book, and you need to make sure you have that done if you haven't. And then the main thing I want to know, okay, you've written your book. Okay, you have everything. You have the ISBN, you have the cover. It's ready to go. What do you need to do? The next thing you need to do is to launch your book. Now, in the past, when you hear of book launch, you only think of these affairs when you have high table and you get your book and people will come, you invite your family and friends, and you hope they'll buy each book for 100K or something like that. It doesn't have to be like that. Is the pre-launch and there's the launch proper. Okay, so when you're at the pre-launch stage, that's when you start thinking, do I want to do a virtual launch or do I want to do a physical book launch? Virtual launches are very popular, and they became so especially popular during the pandemic, which we're still coming out of, so to speak. And they're here to stay. Just recently, I co-wrote a book with a lady in the US. We had about 12, 13 authors. So the only way we could do it was to do a virtual launch, and it was a very successful virtual launch. We did it over 2 days. Okay, so because most of the authors were based in the US, I had to be awake around 2 a.m. to join the launch. So of course I couldn't. A lot of people that I invited, couldn't really join, but it was still a very successful launch. A few of my, family and friends, in diaspora, they joined in. A few of my siblings joined, and it was really, really good. So the first thing is to decide what kind of launch do I, want to do. Do I want to do it online? Do I want to have rent a hall? Do I want to do it in my home? Do I want to do it in the, in the form of a reading? There was a book launch I attended 2 weeks ago. What she just did was to get a room of like minds, a few people she knew who she thought would be interested in her book. We're not more than 40 in that room, and she did a series of readings. of like interesting parts of her book and shared the spirit behind her. But there was no launcher, there was no anything, and she just spoke about her book, shared stories, and people got to participate, asking her a few questions about what inspired her book and sharing some things as well. And after that, we all lined up, and almost everybody, if not everybody, bought a copy or more of her book. So that was how she chose to launch her book. So at least she knew that the people in that hall, most, if not everybody, almost everybody got a copy or more, and that was her own way of launching, and she stood spreading the word out. Some other people, there was another book launch I went to, was much more elaborate. For physical book launches, if you want it to be, depending on what you want to do, get your networks. She got all her networks, her old girls, her church people, her village people, everybody, all the groups that she belonged to, she invited, and she got reviewers. She got, I reviewed the book as well, and we took our time and we did that, and we just had people come and launch and pay all sorts of money, and it was fantastic as well. So whatever you want to do, however form you wanted to take it, is really your choice. Don't allow anyone to tell you this is how it's done. You can do your own, you can dare to be different. What is important that you're doing it the way you want, and it's authentic and it makes sense. Okay, now, before, at the pre-launch noise, you need to make some noise. You need to make some noise about your book. Get your prospective buyers involved. If you're a book author and you're not online, please get online. The social media space is busy. There's so many people competing for attention. Yes, I agree, but you need to be part of that market. It's a beautiful market. When I wrote first day at the big school, I thought it was just going to be my family members that would buy that book. I said, okay, maybe I'll print, if I'm able to sell 100, all glory to God. That book has sold like 3,000. I don't even know how many copies now, because it's online, it's everywhere. And what helped me was because I put that book on Facebook. I just said, oh, I've written a book. And I was shocked at the response I got. People were like, what? It was amazing. People were like, I want. Organizations came to me. I want to buy, I want to give out CSR. It was amazing. It was amazing. I've lost count. I don't know how many I've sold, thousands though, but it was because I made some noise. And it was even a little noise. But it made an impact and people were interested. Another way to get your prospective buyers involved is by doing quizzes, something that's very popular now. You already have your cover. You know the cover of your latest children's book, but you want to get your people involved. You can say, okay, this is the character I have. This is her, what name do you think she should answer? Should her name be Chinenye or Chiomah? You already know that's the name, but you want people to be involved in the process. And they start saying, oh, I like Chiomah, I like Chiomah, and they are getting into it. And oh, we want to see your book. Oh, you can share one page, line art of your, of one illustration. Oh, guess what she's eating. Find out in the book, in the next edition of this, in the next book in this series. I did that a lot, because first day of the big school is the first in a series of books. So when I was going to launch first day at the museum, and one day at the museum, I put just a, something there of, Lana eating. I said, guess what she's eating? And people were asking questions. Oh, they're like, oh, this looks like more and more. It made them, they were like, okay, I can't wait for this book to come out. It could be the cover. You could show them 2 or 3 different covers. And maybe genuinely, you're actually stuck. You don't know which cover to use. You have different illustrations. You're like, which one should I actually use as the cover? You can say, please help me vote, A, B, or C. What do you think should be the cover of my next bestseller for children? And then they will tell you. That way, they're anticipating, they're interested, they're looking forward to that book that you're about to write. So you need to make noise in the pre-launch part. It's important. Well, you can just decide, okay, I want to just come one day with a bang, bam, my book has arrived. That works as well. But to be honest, when you whet people's appetites, you give them something to look forward to, that can also do a lot for you in terms of getting more people interested, and they're anticipating and they're waiting. Something is coming. She has a new book. We can't wait to see it, And some things you can do if you have a favorite character. It could even be like dressing her up, or using children to going around. There are lots of things you can do to make people look forward to your book. Then another thing I always advocate for is pre-order. Do pre-orders. Now, I remember when I wrote, when I did a journal for moms, it wasn't ready, because I wanted to kind of have a feel of how many people will be interested in this journal. before I launched it, I did a pre-order. In fact, I've never even done a launch, to be honest. I've not done a proper launch. I just do like e-launches, not even a virtual launch. I just like announce the book is ready, but I'll do a launch next year by God's grace. But I always do a pre-order. I'll say, oh, I'll just put the cover, coming soon, order now. So if the book is going to be 3,500, you can say order now and save 1,000 naira. The book is or it's 2,500 or whatever. So people are like, okay, I'm going to save money. Let me order, and start ordering. Order for school, order for this. You can start. So pre-orders are always, so you can actually write people before your launch. And I will show you a sample of a pre-order letter in the next slide. But it's very, very important that you do a pre-order. First of all, it helps with that building up that anticipation of before the launch, before the book is actually officially out, and it also helps to get some money because people are going to pay. Pre-order normally comes with payments. So you have some money coming into your account before the book actually is out, which is also nice and very gratifying. So pre-orders for me are something that I am very, very, I believe in so much. It really helps, a good way to get people interested in your book. But make sure your margins are okay. If you're going to reduce the price, because normally pre-order comes with a benefit. It is going to be a pre-order, as in what is the benefit for me? I can wait for the book to come out. But if you're doing a pre-order, it has to come, you can say, okay, even if you're not going to reduce the price of the book, you can say, oh, if you do a pre-order of fun day, fun trip to the zoo, then you get fun day at the fun trip to the village for 50% off. There must be some benefit that accrues to that pre-order. So do the math, see what makes sense for you, and go ahead and do that pre-order. Then if you're doing whether physical or virtual launch, you need launchers. Like I said, this is, everything here for emphasis. It is very important that you get launchers. It's not going to be all about you. You can do it differently. Like I said, the lady I had that I attended hers 2 weeks ago, she didn't have any launcher to speak of. She was the only one that stood up and spoke about her book. But I like the idea of having different people who will tell you what their experiences about the book. Because I can be biased about my book, but if other people come and tell you, I've read this book, look at it, this is how it is, and so get people to read the book. People are very busy. And I'll tell you what I did with Wisdom for Women. Wisdom for Women is a book I call a transgenerational book. So it's for children, it's also for their mothers and fathers to read. So I got different people. I got this lady who is quite popular, she's quite well known, she's a publisher and all that. I just gave her a few chapters to read. I didn't give her the whole book. So I actually divided. I said, if I give this, there are about 3 or 4 women I chose. If I give them this whole book, they might not read it, they might be busy, even though most of them read it in the end, they read everything. But I told them, look, focus. Chapter 1 to 3, read. Chapter 4 to 6, I actually divided the book up and gave them those portions to say, please read this and send me a review. So I spoke to Adeswa, I spoke to Auntie Eugenia Abu, I spoke to my friend Adeswa. I spoke to people who I knew would read it, who I knew could give good review. And you can see Auntie Adeswa's review there was read it, and it really went a long way in helping me give that book some validation, even though I already thought it was fantastic. When other people who are influencers or who are well regarded and respected in the society come out to give your book and say, this book is good. As the first day at the big school, my goodness, I read it and it did X, Y, Z for me. My daughter loved it. My son loved it. You can even, because while these are children's books, you can actually use children launchers. That's actually a fantastic thing to do. Because these are the ones, for instance, for me, if you're looking for launchers, your beta readers will always be good. I'm sure we all know what beta readers are. There are people who are your earliest readers, and for a children's book author, I would always tell you, at least have 1 or 2 children beta readers, because you are not a child anymore. Yes, you remember your childhood, but you're writing for children. So you need to understand, okay, what do they really think? Do they think this is so unrealistic and this doesn't make sense? They think the words are too, so look for, so you could actually get children and use them as your launchers, because they will be able to tell, look, I've read this book, I loved it, the colors are vibrant, it's this and that and that, and it will do well. So, and then when possible, use influencers. Now, especially in this world of social media, influencers are doing a lot of things. Now, if you're going to use influencers in your niche. What do I mean by your niche? For instance, if you're writing a children's book, someone like Iniedo, who is fantastic, I love her, but I don't think she's talking about your book will do as much for your book compared to someone maybe who has starred in Super Story or something that children watch. You know, if you get what I mean. I'm trying to think of a good example of a person who appeals to maybe someone who is popular among children. I'm trying to think of someone who's popular among children, among educations, among young people. Okay, so there's someone called Ronke Posh. So she owns a school. She does a lot of things in that industry. So maybe someone like Ronke Posh might actually, who does not have as much followers, so to speak, as in Edo. But because what she does is more relevant to children's books, if she's the one that is reviewing your book or talking about your book, you will end up getting more. You might end up getting not even me. You will get more sales through her channel than you will get through Edo. So that's just to put it in perspective. Use influencers that are relevant to your niche and to your market, so that you're not just, because a lot of influencers, they ask for money. You want me to promote your book? You want me to help you do a pre-launch or do a launch? You must pay me. So if that payment has to be something, if you're going to exchange consideration for anything you're doing, it must be worth it. So do your homework properly and think, this person, yes, she might be so popular, she has 100 million followers, but is it relevant? After I pay her this 100K, is it going to work? Look for people who are in parenting circles, people who talk on parenting, children, schools. Those kind of people, it's better to use them as your influencers or as your launch channels, because they are talking to your market, mothers, fathers, schools, children, So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to show you, if I'm going too fast, I talk fast, so please slow me down. We're not too many in the class, so please, anyone at any point in time, you can stop me, you can raise your hand, that's fine. We're not being very strict. Okay, so this is a sample of a pre-launch letter, and I'm going to just read it out. So it's people like things that are personalized, okay? So if you have a mailing, that's why I like mailing lists. If you have anything you're doing, people are showing interest in your books, you go to book fairs, a lot of us go to book fairs, this is what you're going to do with the numbers and the names you get and the emails. Have a mailing list. So every now and then you can reach out to them. People that bought your book last, have a mailing list with their details. So you can reach them and say, hi Kessiana. And as I can share some exciting news. I am an author of XYZ. You can, you hype your book. It's going to be launched on so and so day. This book is about a little girl who does XYZ, and I know you will love it. I know the children in your school will love it. I know your children will love it. I know it will, whatever you want to say about it. I know you enjoyed my last book, and that's why I'm sending out this letter to you. So you can be part of those who get my new book, one of the first people to get it, hot off the press. I'm so thrilled to launch my own pre-sale campaign as we count down to the official launch. And you can put numbers, this is just a draft. It's just a template you can adjust. I have a big goal, and my big goal is to sell 100 copies during my pre-sale campaign. I know you will help me. I know you'll be part of that. The book, sorry, there's a typo there. The best part is when you purchase 2 or more copies, I will throw in a free copy of, so these are the things I'm talking about. When you're doing a pre-launch, there must be some benefit that will accrue. So you can say, if you buy this new book, or if you buy 2 copies, I'm going to give you first day at the big school free. Or I'm going to give you XYZ, my get back to school template free, or something. Or whatever it is, my checklist, my free checklist for authors, whatever resource or service that you sell, you can add that in. Or, and then you can even say, okay, I'm giving you a free sneak chapter to see. If it's a chapter book, you can't do that. Or if it's a book for like maybe 11, 12-year-olds who actually have chapters, So those are ideas. You can even say, oh, if you do this, I will give you free shipping wherever you are in Nigeria. So these are things, ideas. You can say, oh, you know what, order before, because they need to see that it's something that's going to benefit them. Order before now and you get XYZ. So this is just a sample that you can use for your pre-launch. And then you just start to work on towards the D-Day. That's your launch date. So like I said, it could be virtual, it could be online. These things will still work. So you're going to do countdown. That's why I was talking about having a social media handle. Some authors have different social media handles for their books. I don't. I just use the same one. But if you have one dedicated, that's fine as well. So that book can just be focused on your books as they come out. So you can do a countdown. Guess what's happening? 3 days to go, 2 days to go, 1 day, you can even start from like 10 days, 10 days more. Like, a lot of you saw the flyers that were, for this workshop that were coming up, and we're doing a countdown, 5 days more, 3 days more, 2 days more. You need to create anticipation, create excitement about this new thing that is coming, this new book that is going to be launched. So start to do the countdown, whether it's virtual, whether it's physical. And even if you're doing a physical book launch, you should also have a virtual one. There are 2 different routes to your launch. So you actually draw out a map and say, this is what I'm going to do for online, this is what I'm going to do for physical. You're doing everything, all join. You do all of them together towards promoting your book. And then you can now say, okay, this is the day, the D-Day is here. And then you now start selling. And one thing that really helps is testimonials. People want to know, which is why I said, if you're doing a launch, you can talk about your book yourself, that's all well and good, but people want to know what other people think about that book. They want to know. So influencer marketing is amazing, it works. People, just because Olayemi Ejemai said that is a good book, they take her word for it. I remember when one lady I'm friendly with online, I sent a book to her, and she went online and she was like, oh my God, first day I can't believe this book was printed here. I can't believe I'm seeing Nigerian food in my children's books. I love it. She was so, one lady just called me and said, please, are you in Abuja? She needs all the books, anything that this girl has said is good. And she saw it online on this lady's page. And so as far as that lady has validated it, that means it must be good and that she wants. But here's the but, which is why I say you need to be careful when you're choosing the influencers. The influencers the people she influences, a lot of them are in the very low income bracket. So if your book is 2,000 naira, they might not buy it. They'll say it's too expensive. If your book is 4,000 naira, they might not buy it. They'll say it's very expensive. So you have to look at the market of this influencer. Can they actually work for you? Because they might say, sorry, is it not 500? If it's more than 500, I cannot buy this, but I don't care how much it's influencing me. It's not going to work. So look at the people. It's very, very important. Niche marketing. It's influencer marketing. You must look at the niche and make sure you're not just marketing at miss and paying people all sorts of money. You just be paying money. You'll be shocked at how much you spend and how little results you get if you're not very targeted and intentional and very specific with the way you are asking people to help you market. So reviews, testimonials, look for key. Don't neglect your circle. There's some people who you call shepherds. Okay, so like I said, they might not be popular online. They might not have 100 million followers, but pastor whoever, maybe she has how many people in her church, and just because they've seen you take a picture with pastor whoever, they're like, wow, for pastor who, so and so to buy that book, oh my goodness, I must have it. So look for your friends and family, look for people who are actually shepherds, who can influence others and say, if this person has bought my book. So sometimes you have to give out some free copies of your books, but you just be intentional and choose wisely. It could just be a photo up. That person might not even have a page on Instagram or Facebook, but just a photo up with so and so. What's his name? Buhari bought whoever bought a copy of my book, with my book, or a child reading my book. Those things go a long way in helping you promote that book and making the launch a powerful one. So giveaways help. Now, be careful with giveaways, because the book you wrote it to teach children values and to do all sorts of things, but you also want to make money from it. That's part of it, isn't it? That's a big motivation for you to continue writing. So be careful with giving. You don't want to give away books and then at the end of the day, you're like, okay, this thing is not paying me anything. What's the point? And you get demotivated. So be careful with giveaways. But giveaways also do help. And enlist your friends. I remember I was doing something with my friend. She got all her friends into a WhatsApp group, and every day she told them, every day, put my book on your status, please. What will it take? If you tell all your friends, please, I just want a favor, just for one day. I'm launching my book on the 25th of May. On that day, can you please all put the book on your status with a link? Because people want fast action these days. If they cannot click the link immediately and buy that book, So all of you, if you don't have a Paystack account, please get one. If you don't have online places to get your that you can buy your book, please get it, because people are very fast action. And at times when they forget, if they cannot click immediately and buy that book, they actually forget. Get your book on Amazon, get a way so that people can buy your books easily. So those things help. So use your networks. Use your networks very wisely. You have them, you have people. It could be your cousin group on WhatsApp where you're tired of them because they're always sending all sorts of messages, but that your village group, it can be very useful. Just beg them that, please, I'm begging you, just encourage me. Just if you can put this book on your status just today. Some might even just leave it there. Some might put it every day. They want to associate with an author. So put it up, use your networks and you will be surprised. And like I said, try and include a link. Have a link that takes them to either a landing page or whatever it is so they can actually purchase the book and not just be seeing picture and like, how do I buy it now? Maybe there's one phone number written there. Who will call the number? Some people don't have that time. Some people, they've forgotten. As it passes, that's it. So it's important. And that's another important part of your launch. If it's not written there, please pardon me, but you must have a landing page for your for your book. I've spoken about you having online, having an Instagram presence, having a Facebook presence or whatever, but you should have a proper landing page that everything is coming. So when people are clicking, you guys spoke about your mailing list. It's some people, my book is coming out so and so day. You can purchase, you can pre-order, or you can buy on the launch day, but there must be something that they click that is taking them to where they can purchase your book. So you have to organize your back office, okay, so that people can actually get that book. So one of the things you need to do is look for a good delivery service that you can count on, because when the orders start coming in, the last thing you want to do is not to be able to satisfy the orders. That's one of the biggest issues. I've ordered, I've paid, where's my book? You don't want stories. I remember someone that ordered books from the time I should come to the park. I said, which park? I'm not going to any park. So door-to-door delivery is your best option. At times it's expensive, but it's not bad. Or what you can do, I know someone, what she does, she has key pickup points all over town. So in a place like Lagos, she has a pickup point in Lekki, she has on the mainland, she has one in Ikeja, she has one in Surulere. So she has different places, and you can use your friends. That's what I do. For my children's books, I have friends. So I kept one in my friend's office in BI. I kept one someone somewhere on the mainland, I think Shomolu or so. I kept some there. So I'll tell you can pick up from her. It might be easier for you than paying delivery fee of 2K. Or whatever the delivery fee is. How much is the book? You're paying so much. So look for options. Those are things that you need to do at the pre-launch stage, where you're actually thinking and saying, okay, how can I make sure people are getting these books? I know there was give an example of is this book about finance? I'm trying to remember the name of that book by Arese Ugu. Yeah, about Arese. I can't remember the name of the book. Some book about finance. But what she did, because she had she's close to what's her name, House of Tara, who's also someone I'm friendly with, as she's also my friend. So she told Tara, please, can I keep all my books in all House of Tara around the country? House of Tara is everywhere. And Tara agreed, and that was fantastic. So people could go and pick up their book from House of Tara. And I put about 3 locations of House of Tara. So you can pick up your book, so you're not paying for delivery. Just go there and pick up your book. So these are things you can do to make your book accessible, because accessibility, Smart Money Woman, God bless you, Smart Money, that's the name of the book, Smart Money Woman. So that book was easily accessible. Nobody is saying, I beg, I'm paying 3K. You buy a book that is 3K and you're paying 3K. For me, those are things that help actually make me say I'm not buying the book again. I say, really? But the book is 3,000 now. Delivery, door to door, 3. I said, don't worry, when I come to Lagos, I'll buy it, So you have to think of all that back work. A lot of work goes into it, and you have to make sure you're taking care of all those things at the back room to make sure that when the book is out, people can actually get the book. So before the launch day proper, start sending the book out to those different spots. Your market. For me, I know that my biggest markets, Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Enugu to an extent. So I try to make sure your books are in those locations before your launch day. Make sure that they're already there, so that you already know. So, and then at times what I do, if one person is ordering, I send like 10 through her. So it's one delivery fee, and I just, if it's, obviously it has to be a friend. I'll say, oh, please, Ungo, I'm sending you 10. So and so and so and so I'm going to also pick from you. Is that okay? Oh, okay, I'll take it to work. They should come to my office and pick it up. Problem solved. So they're not paying, instead of paying 2,500 for delivery, they're paying 500 because you split the delivery cost. Okay, so you're making it easier. Okay, please, you go and pick it up. So I'm charging you 500 for delivery. Everybody is happy that way, because at the end of the day, that 500, if there are 10 people that have ordered, that's 5,000 naira. It didn't cost you up to 5,000 naira to send it to Ungo in the first place. Do you understand? So you have to be creative and think of ways that those books are going to be available when people buy. So Facebook ads, IG ads, they work, but they must be targeted. And that's a whole different class. I can talk to you a lot about how to target your ads, but that's a whole different class. Your ads must be targeted to people who want to buy your books. If not, you are just pouring money down the drain. It's not going to get you. You just get, hello, babe. How now? I like you. Can I have your number? You'll be getting very irritating messages from people. You're sending that your Facebook ad to, So please, you have to learn how to target your ad. And also, you must, I like seeing people's faces. A lot of people like relatable things. They like seeing human beings' faces. So as you're advertising your book, someone that's very good at that is Bumi. Bumi Talabi, you always see one beautiful picture of her beside the book, as the author. Those things help get people attracted. Say, oh, okay, this is really, really interesting. Okay, and they're going to want to buy your book for that reason. So please make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. So I'm going to go to the next slide now. This is the biggest part, and this is really the end. Marketing. This is the main thing. This is the main theme of what you do. A lot of things I've been saying, I've not written them down, but I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're remembering these things, because the slide will be sent out to you, and it will be more information will be put in there. But please remember all the things I'm saying. Do your back engine work, and then marketing. Now, visit bookstores that can carry your book. Again, when you're going to bookstores, remember, it has to be bookstores that people who read your books or who are drawn to children's books want to read. You don't go to a bookstore that there is mostly books for adults that they carry, because your books will just stay on the shelf. And you must remember that most bookstores will pay you after they have sold your book, not before. Which can be, for a lot of people, that can be quite disappointing, but that's how most bookstores, I think there's only one bookstore in Port Harcourt that I talked to, and they said, no, give us your books, we will pay you first. That's how we do. So they pay on pay on delivery or whatever, but they pay you. So they'll say, I only want 10, and they pay you for that 10. Most bookstores will not do that. They will pay you after they've sold it. And if you've given them 20 books and only one is remaining until they've sold that one, there's no money for you. Latena is a good bookstore to stock your books. They are very, very well known. Usually they tell you 70-30 in terms of how you share the proceeds of the cost of the book and all that. But it's a very good place to sell your books. They have a wide reach. A lot of people go to Latena. They're online as well, and they give your book a lot of authenticity, because they actually review books. They don't carry every book. Not every book that they said that they will put on their shelves. So Latena in Lagos is a very good one. Another thing I always tell all authors to do is Roving Heights. This is not an advertisement for them, but it works for me. Or everybody can get my books via Roving Heights. But you want to pick up, because they do pick up. Like, I order a lot of books through Roving Heights. I just can pick up from their store, say, so it's easier for me. I'm not paying for any delivery. So you can pick up from them, they can deliver to you, but your book is available. It's available to people, and they have a good coverage. But another thing you can do, Roving Heights, you can actually partner with them and do book readings or author signings. That's another good way of making sure people know about your book. So if you talk to them, say, oh, Roving Heights, you have a few of my books. Please, I want to do a book reading, an author signing, or something with you. Can I bring my book? They will most likely say, yes, you can. And you plan with them, and they will do media, or you will do media, but they will also help you advertise them, which is also going to bring you more visibility, because visibility is key. And you have to agree with me that you can't see much these days, because there's so much. This person married a second wife, that person did this, then bad news that's coming up and down, So your children's book, if you want people to see it, you have to go out of your way to make it visible. Because even me, with the work I've done, I still have people that tell me, oh, you write books? Oh, I didn't know. I'm like, really? Which shows me I still have a lot of work to do. So visit bookstores, do book readings, do podcasts. I have a podcast series that I do for my blog, Chiomah Momah, which is for working moms. And once in a while, I read books. I'll just read a book. I've read my books there. And then Tonya, one of our trustees, has a fantastic podcast she does with Nigerian authors. You need to hook up with that. So she's done a lot of things with Nigerian authors, reading their books and talking about their books. And that creates a much bigger market for you. So look at that. Look at doing podcasts, look at doing book readings. And one kind of book reading that is very important for our kind of books, our kind of literature, is children's books and children's schools, rather. Go to children's school. When I wrote first day at the big school, I wrote all the school owners I knew. Some will not answer you. Some will treat you like you're one big round. It's all sorts of attitudes you get, but just keep on writing. So what I do is that I will write you, I will tell you, and it's not for free. They have to buy some of your books. That's the whole deal. You're not just going to go and read your book and go away. So you say, every child in the class, or 10 copies or 20 copies of my book, and I'll do a book reading, World Book Day. In fact, at a point, they'll be the ones chasing you. This year, I can't remember how many invitations I got for, I should come and do book reading, World Book Day, because Nigerian authors are really special, and schools and children, but for children, it's amazing. So book clubs to call me. In fact, I think there's one lady that is not talking to me anymore because I didn't come for her book reading, because it's now become a lot. So you have so many invitations, but try and make it worth your while. Yes, you do pro bono stuff, that's good, but monetize it as well. So you're living there knowing that you've also made some money from those sales. So book readings, book club readings, school readings, book fair readings that you organize yourself on your own are very important. Trade fairs. What I do a lot of times is that I share a stand with a friend. So people like to eat at trade fairs, all these fairs that people do, on the weekends. People like food. So you can look for a friend that has food and say, please, can I pay for part of the stand? Or can I put my pay for a stand next to you? Because people, as they're coming to buy food for their children and for themselves, they're seeing this is what, this was, done here. Oh, you're the author, blah, blah, blah. And that's an amazing way to get your book out there, to sell your books, and to see people have interest in your book. So look for a lot of us now. I don't really know. I'm thinking, who are the authors in Abuja? I don't know the children's authors in Abuja, to be honest. But that's something. For those of you in Lagos, you already have a fantastic market. Put it together. You don't have to have a stand to yourself. Do 2 or 3 of you have a stand together at a fair. Once there's any fair, call them, oh, Chineye, there's a fair here, let's go. And you go there together and you sell your book. These things, they go a long way in creating mileage for your books, in creating visibility for your books, getting the word out that you have those books. But like I said, children's schools, and for any city I go to, there's nothing like vacation for me. And what I mean is that there's vacation, but if I'm going to a city on vacation, I also have my books with me. So that's why you can see the last point. Keep talking about your book and carry your market on your head. Please give me tissue. Carry your market on your head, because you're the only one that can sell your book. Well, I carry my book everywhere. I have this really big bag, just so I can put at least one of my books in my bag. At the airport, I can show people, I write books. Sorry, excuse me. I write children's books, by the way. I write books, and that's a way to create visibility. And you don't know who's, really? You write. Fantastic. So I put them anyway. So anyway, I'll give you an example. The last time I went for, I think it was some conference, I think it was in Port Harcourt. I called my host and said, please, I need contacts of children's schools in Port Harcourt. And I was able to do book readings like 2 or 3 of those schools. They bought my books. And right now, I think I've done readings in like 26, 27 schools at my last count. So any city I go to, I will say, are there schools? So you're going on vacation to the UK. Trust me, there will be a school in that county that will be interested in you coming to do a book reading. Just write them. But if not for the pandemic, I was meant to do 2 book readings in the UK last year. But the pandemic didn't allow that to happen, because they were really, really excited and looking forward to helping me. To having me, because for children, it's a big thing. This author from Nigeria is here and she wrote this book. Blah, blah. It's fantastic publicity for you, fantastic visibility for you. And it's a good way of getting your book on an international stage. Other thing you should do as well is to attend conferences. You're an author, now what? Attend conferences, attend those things, and you meet with other authors, who can help you also market your book. We do things together. Just recently, I think it was Lola who went for some book fair, and we all gave her some of our books as well to help us promote, because she was there. We couldn't all be there together. But the fact that she was there, she was happy to have our books on her stand, and that was giving our books visibility. So please do things together. Collaboration is one of the key things that we want to happen at ACAIN, collaborating with each other and helping our markets grow, our joint market. If one author is doing well, it will rub off on one another author. At times, I'm invited for things and I can't go. I'll say, oh, please, but I know this author. Please invite her. She'll be available. When I go to Lagos, there's no trip, there's hardly a trip I've gone to in Lagos where I have not also done a book reading as well. Call your alumni network. Once I call anyone in Corona, that was my primary school. Corona is always excited. I went to two primary schools. One of them was Corona. They're always excited to have me in their midst, because they're like, oh, this is a product. She was here in this school and she's now an author, and they will buy your books. They will promote you. They'll be excited to have you. So please, 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 let us use our networks well. That alumni one is very important. Even your village. When you go to your village, if you school to that primary school, tell them you want to come and donate books. Yes, sometimes you might even be giving back.
That's true.
That's great visibility for your book as well, and that will help you also promote your book. Please keep talking about your book. Like I said, when someone told me last month, oh, you write books, I almost collapsed, because I thought everybody that knew me knew I also, I wrote books, among other things that I do. So that means I'm not talking about it enough. In your car, have your books with you. In your handbag, have your books with you. If they can fit into your handbag, have them handy, because you never know where your next client or customer is going to come from. Take part in book fairs. I wish we had more in Abuja, but whenever Diana in Lagos, I will still ask any of you to please help me, and I will sell through you. So please, please, please do not stop talking about your books. That's the easiest way to get the word out there and to promote the beautiful work all of you are doing in your respective spheres. Okay. Did I pronounce that word? Okay, so yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. I hope this workshop made sense. I hope you learned something from it. Try to keep it short and simple and practical, so that you can actually go back and apply the things that I have said, I have taught here. Always think of breaking everything into two phases: pre-launch, post-launch. The pre-launch is where you have to do the strategizing. Most of the work needs to be done there. How will this book be distributed? How are people going to get this book? What would it cost to distribute this book? Through which channels am I going to distribute my book? Who are the influencers, if any, I want to promote my book? Online, please get there. There's a lot of market there. What kind of influencers am I going to use? They must be relevant influence, like I said. Don't just go and look for any million followers. It's not about the numbers. There's something called micro influencers. There are times they're more relevant in your field, in your sphere. They can do more magic for you than people that have all the huge numbers. Look at who you need. Do readings. IG Live, I didn't mention that. Do a lot of things if you're doing a virtual launch. IG Live is a great place to have host your launch on Zoom or whatever platform you're using. But please, you can feel free to use multiple platforms. You don't have to limit yourself to one and say, oh, because I'm doing a physical launch, I will not do an online launch. No, you can do both. You're free to do both. Just strategize or do your groundwork well, do your networking well, and use your network. When your book is now out, please use your network well. Family members, ready network. Your church people, ready network. Ask, I'm going to preach at a church next week. I've already told them, please, I have books, so can I bring? Of course. They're very happy. They're going to get me a table and put it there for me. So do not always ask. Old boys meeting, old girls meeting, can I bring my books to sell? Sure you can. Ask. So you can find so many different ways to bring your books and to sell your market. You're going on a holiday, one day to sell your book is not too much. You're going to Alicante. If I think, oh, they only speak Spanish here, you'll be shocked that there's an English-speaking school or there's even a Spanish-speaking school that wants to hear from this author. So you can now write them. Find out. Just go online. It's easy. Libraries in Alicante, Spain, and you'll see. Okay, write them. I'm coming on vacation. I want to do a book reading. Oh, beautiful. Welcome. It's happened to me so many times, and you'll find that you can do so much. Your your primary school, your secondary school, talk to them. They'll be so happy. Use people. That sounds good. You use the people who you have. who God has blessed you with. Use the networks that you have and spread the word. I hope I have been able to, you've been able to learn something useful that will help you in your books. And please, like the first thing I mentioned, don't joke with your ISBN. It's very, very important. Thank you very much. I'll take questions at any or
very insightful. Thanks.
Thank you, Bumi. Yes, you can pre-order for ebooks as well. You can. Because I've seen a lot of pre-orders for ebooks. Yes, you can. You definitely can. Ebooks are usually separately priced than your physical books. And some people, that's all they want anyway. So yes, you can do your pre-order. A lot of books that come out, especially these bestsellers, you see a lot of pre-orders on Kindle or using ebooks. So for sure, you can. You definitely can. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, and like Bumi is retreating, your networks. I have a 9 to 5. My books are on my table. My books are on my table. Everybody knows that, right? Oh, okay, really? Oh, fantastic! And they buy all, as in every week almost. Unless I'm not making noise. At times I even there's a vendor that goes around the I'll give her, I'll say, madam, as you're selling your newspaper, just carry my book and be showing people, and people buy that way. So yes, very, very, very important. The podcast, I mentioned one by Tonya Faluhi. Yes, she's one of our board members. We can share her. Cassandra will share her details on the ACAIN group. Okay, or she'll send it to you. So Tonya has a great podcast, and then also you can also reach out to me as well if you're interested. But Tonya has a fantastic one, which is really taking children's authors and doing a lot of amazing stuff with them. So please reach out to her, and you'll be happy you did. Okay, any other questions before we take another? We'll take something about joining ACAIN, and then we'll have our beautiful chair come in and give the vote of thanks.
So mine is not so much even a question. It's just
okay.
There was this session that I attended, and what they were saying was writing the book is just the beginning, and you have reiterated that. Writing the book is just like maybe 1/3 of the work that you need to do. I remember the speakers talked about how, many authors think that, oh, I've written a book and that's it. Somehow the world will hear about it. But apparently, no. Exactly what Chiomah says. You have to keep that marketing strategy, in fact, should take as much, if not more time, possibly more time than it did to formulate the book, write the book, create the book, print the book, everything. So yeah, marketing is key. It's even almost more key than actually writing the book itself, if you want the book to get out there into the hands of people. So yeah, thank you. Everything Chiomah said. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chair, for that. And I've shared Tonya's details for anyone on Instagram. You want to contact her about the podcast, please do. It's a very, very important way to get in. And anyone that wants to talk to me, because I am particular about working mothers. That's really where I come in. And I think, I'm so happy that most of us are women, because it just shows that we're thinking of the, of tomorrow, the children, the kind of things that they listen to, the kind of things that they read, the values that they learn through these books that we're writing. And it's so important that our stories are gotten out there and people all over the world hear about these beautiful books we've written and actually get to read them. So thank you so much for being part of this workshop.